Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back, y'all. My name is Danielle, and this is my spiritual journey. Okay, so one thing that I know could be really helpful, this is going to be a series, y'all, is just the little pieces and parts that help those, especially Christians, who may come up to you and kind of like question some of the things that you do, the practices that you have. This is also going to be really helpful for those of you who are still in the spiritual closet. So today I'm going to bring up two topics, and I got notes, y'all. The two that I'm going to be talking about are altars and astrology. So in my practice, I do use altars and I use astrology, y'all. But the altars are going to be for different reasons for different people, right? There's no right, there's no wrong, there's no nothing. Like this is your practice, but let's talk about altars. So my altars are mostly for my people, right? So I'll have my altars for my people. I did have a space on one of my altars for a goddess, so a specific goddess. And the altars can be for whatever you want, different pieces and parts for different spaces and people. There's altars for your ancestors, altars for the different zodiac signs, moon phases, gods and goddesses, angels, archangels, fairies, daemons, like dragons, any and everything that you can think of, there's a space for it. There's an altar for it that you can create. And again, there is no right, wrong, rhyme, or reason. I'm not going to go through the setup of altars because they are very different, and mine is definitely set up different than most people would set their altars up. What do I do with my altars? So on my altars, I'll usually have my people on it. So it could be their faces on it. If I take their faces off of it, meaning pictures of them. So if I take those off of it, then I may do something else that may symbolize that it's them. And then other times I just like hold space, knowing that this is their altar. Um, there was a time where I did create art and I put like the face, like for one of them, it was my great grandmother's face was on it, and it was just art that was on the altar. So there is so many different things that you can do. Now, placing on the altar, I have placed my tarot cards. I have two decks of tarot cards, two or three decks of oracle cards. And so, what I may do is like if I have a new deck or something that I want to cleanse or, to make more sacred, I'll put it on my altar. There's people who may put money on the altar and they may have a certain spell that may go with the altar. So this is not going to be where they place it in the place of offering, but in a different place on the altar. For those of you who have seen some of my other videos, you know that I do shrooms. I have nothing against shrooms. When I did shrooms for the very first time, I put my shrooms on the altar for a longer amount of time. And it was just to, so I placed them on the altar. And when I placed them on the altar, I was like, hey, people, essentially let them know that I wanted to have an experience as a result of taking the shrooms. Like I wanted to learn things and essentially have a guide. These are the tasks that I need to take care of. These are things that I need to look at and be more aware of. And anything that they wanted to bring to me, to my attention, say to me, messages or whatever, I wanted to experience that when I took the shrooms. And so that was the reason that I put my shrooms on the altar. Um, and so, yeah, there's a lot of different things that you can do. When I do spell work, actually spells, writing out spells, I'll do that on the altar. There was a time where, if I want to create, let's say, a money jar, when I created the money jar, I did not create the money jar on the altar because that can get messy, y'all. And OCD me was like, oh no. So like I had my parchment paper that I had on the altar to make sacred, and then I did the money jar on the altar. And then from there, I took the money jar and then I put it on the altar. So all the things, y'all, it just depends on who you are. But then I put it on the altar to again make sacred. And then I started using the money jar. And I'll do that with some different oils that I may have, whether it's a money oil a money attraction oil, different things. I'll do that and I'll put it on the altar for, to make sacred, to make more sacred, to make more powerful, whatever it is. Same with moon water. I'll take my moon water, once my moon water is finished, I'll put it on the altar. Like it doesn't go just anywhere. Like it stays on the altar until I'm ready to use it for whatever I want to use it for, and depending on what phase of the moon that I got it, all the different things, yeah. So, altars are really important for me. And let's go to astrology. So we already hit on some astrology when we were talking about the moon phases. You can go and dabble further with the planets, the meanings and energies of different planets, zodiac signs, all of the above. And so for both of those, when we are talking about astrology, when we're talking about altars, people will look at you or can look at you or may look at you some kind of way, have some feedback for you. And those people are usually going to be, in my experience, Christians. And so when it comes to Christians, I was just like, you know what? When you go to church, because when I went to church, uh, down front is the altar, right? So you have the whole where all the pews are, but at the front is the altar. And we used to have something called altar call, and so they have the altar, and a lot of times the altar will have like a Bible on it, a huge Bible, praying hands or something like that. It may have some inscription on it, this do in remembrance of me. Um, let's see, on first Sundays, because that's when we in the Baptist church, that's when we did our communion. The altar was then covered in a white cloth, and the communion, the symbolic body, the symbolic blood of Jesus was placed on that altar. And so, again, that is a sacred thing as well. Nobody would just go up and hang out on the altar. You're not just going to go up there and go lean on the altar. Like you're not doing any of those things. That's back in my day when I was growing up in the church and things, it wasn't a place to do those. And then there was a church. There was a church that I had attended. They did not have an altar at all, y'all. Was it hellish in there? I can't remember, but they didn't have an altar at all. And it was just like this space that it was just like when you would go down front, like you would go and just there's like an imaginary altar. Like you would go and then go off to the left or right. Like you didn't just plant right there. It was different, but yeah, so altars are definitely like a thing, and it is a thing in the church. And so when people may have some kind of way about you having an altar, there are altars in the church. Astrology, especially if you're a Christian, y'all, what did the three wise men use to find Jesus, where Jesus was being born and that he was in a manger? Like they was using astrology to find Jesus. So for them to use astrology to find Jesus, trust that astrology wasn't some brand new unused thing. Like you're gonna take time to use astrology and to know astrology and to predict when the time frame was for Jesus to be born. Like all the things, y'all, they was in it knee deep, right? I'm not in astrology knee deep. I'm not at all. But they was in it knee deep because I'm not predicting time or anything else based on the stars, the placement of stars or anything else. And so, when people want to come at you, especially because that's what today's topic is about, the altars and astrology, like no, even if you decide to use it different, like I use it with the phases of the moon, and then I also will do the days of the week and the different planets and energy that they are bringing associated with those days of the week. And then other times I may do that, okay, we are in this zodiac sign, and this is what I'm doing because we're in this zodiac sign. It could be that we're in the zodiac sign for the day. It could be that I'm going to do that, February is usually going to be associated with Aquarius. And so you may just be with that thing like that, since it's Aquarius, that may be my thing for the month. And so it just depends on how you want to do it. Again, there is no right way, there is no wrong way, there is your way, right? And even if it is your way, I really want to stress that even if something is your way, it doesn't mean that you have to keep doing it this specific way. Your way may be to do something for a day and then do something else for the next day and then for the next week. do the same thing. It's just up to you, as very varied as you want to do it, as stable as you want to do it, as flexible as you want to do it. It's all up to you. But for those of you who are in a closet who have issues with people, those are some parallels that you can easily take if you are doing altars, having your own altar at home, and the like. And the other thing is that, people in the church are strongly advised to go home and, spend time with God, Jesus, the Holy Ghost, whoever, at home. And so maybe they can do that in their space. You'll hear people say that they have a prayer closet. Okay, well, think of this as being the equivalent to a prayer closet. Like when you want to take things and have that special time, that special place, even that it can be what the altar is used for. So hopefully that's some parallels for you. And I will be doing a few more because I have been hit with a lot, and I've been coming across some people who are still in the spiritual closet, and they have family members and so forth that are just like, what, questioning everything, and they don't have answers, or they just don't have the the energy, the bandwidth to be trying to argue and fight and back, go back and forth. And so having this knowledge, even on the video, having this knowledge will help you so that when people come at you, then you can be like, oh, this, and this. And sometimes I will tell you, sometimes this does cause the Christian counterparts to take a step back and we're like, oh, okay, well, I didn't see it like that. And other times, they'll just gonna still be like, you know what, but you're still not Christian. So you're still risking your salvation. And you have to just be like, okay, well, you have your opinion and I have mine. You feel a certain way and I feel a certain way. So let's just respect that it is what it is. But again, watch a few of these videos that are going to be in this series, and you'll get um, more understanding of how to come back with more information in a way that is enlightening and maybe even educating for those who may question what it is that you are actually doing. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, y'all put it in the comment section. If you need me to elaborate on anything a little bit more, then I can. Again, just let me know in the comment section. Altars can definitely vary. Be careful when you are listening to people tell you how to construct an altar. You go with, I will tell you that you can listen, but please go with how you are feeling. Please understand that if you are in restricted spaces, if you are in a spiritual closet, your altar may look completely different. Maybe you don't have an altar. Maybe your stuff is imaginary, right? Maybe you go to a corner when you're wanting to get some kind of clarity. Maybe you go like how I do, but I'm not in the spiritual closet at all, but I'll get clarity when I take a shower. So maybe that may be where you do your thing. Like there's so much. There's so much that you can do. We can again go and dive deep into this later because as an Aquarius, I know that I'm innovative and I can help people come up with different solutions and stuff, but I don't know what you need help with unless you put it in the comment section. So have a chat with me, whatever the case is, and I'll do a video response if needed or whatever the case. So again, I will chat with y'all later. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And until next time, y'all have a great one. Bye, y'all.